formally call this meeting of the Phoenix City Council to order. Would our city clerk please call the roll?
Councilman DeCiccio. Councilman Nowakowski. Here. Councilwoman Pastor. Councilwoman Stark.
Here.
Councilman Valenzuela. Here. Councilman Waring. Here. Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Gallego.
Here.
Mayor Stanton.
I am here. A quorum of the City Council is present. Vice Mayor already said it, but let me also, since I just walked in a couple minutes late, say welcome to Councilwoman Stark. Congratulations again yesterday and hitting the ground running. You have to have some tough votes today. Here we go. Welcome to the dais. Good to see you. All right, would our interpreter, Leticia Marquez, please introduce yourself for audience members who may need your services?
Mi nombre es Leticia Márquez. Si necesita asistencia o traducción al español, por favor, véame. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Now is the portion of the agenda which we take citizen comments. Citizens have up to 3 minutes to provide testimony on any subject matter they want before the City Council. We cannot respond under the Arizona Open Meeting Law because these are on non-agendized items. The first speaker under citizen request will be Mr. Leonard Clark. Mr. Clark, are you here? Great to see you. Up to 3 minutes, followed by Craig Weaver, Ms. Barker, Diane Barker, and Mr. Rusnick. Mr. Clark.
Hello, Mayor and council meeting members. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Leonard Clark. Today I just wanted to, I always generally try to make sure to thank the people who guard our public security, who are serving our nation, our soldiers in the armed forces of the United States of America, people that are doing public service things like you are doing, but especially the folks who are putting their lives on the line. I always thank them because I know that I wouldn't be allowed to really be speaking here. I really wouldn't if it wasn't for them. And so today I'm going to go a little bit farther on it. I know that we all have our different political views. I know this is a bipartisan council. And also, excuse me, I want to thank the new council person, Deborah Stark, for being here. Thank you for serving our city. But a lot of the city, like the nation, I'm worried, can become more polarized as the political rhetoric and our passions rise about what we believe the country stands for and how our city and our country should be run. So I'm wondering if we can change the fact that Wesley Boland Park has all of the memorials, has many memorials there for veterans and soldiers. Why couldn't the city of Phoenix make a memorial to our soldiers and people of public service? And I know we have one for our officers, but I'm talking about all public servants who serve regardless of what political party, of the representatives of the people they're representing and of themselves. They come together because that's one of the things I always remember from the Army is when people are shooting at you or you're worried about being blown up, you're not looking at your buddy now thinking, is he a Republican, is she a Democrat? You are just hoping that you will protect each other. So I'm hoping if we have like a memorial, if in the future you might think about a memorial that help bring not only our city but our state and our nation together so that, for example, on Saturday, when Donald Trump is here, and I will be using my nonviolent First Amendment right to protest, just as people of their First Amendment right have a right to go, so that we all realize that what a beautiful right we have to be able to protest, and maybe with a memorial in the city of Phoenix dedicated to public servants, to soldiers, people who are they're not even buried here. They're buried thousands of miles away from here. Their bodies were never found. That we can all realize what a beautiful gift we have here, and it can be easily lost. This nation is not that old. It barely spans the lifetimes of two 100-year-old human beings, not much more than that. It could all disappear in a heartbeat. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Craig Weaver.
Thank you, Council. I was here 6 weeks ago and wanted to just spend a minute thanking you for your involvement in the streetlight bid and adding the category of 2700 Kelvin to the bid list. That gives Phoenix more options for choosing good streetlights here in the next few months. There were two people that week that weren't here, and one of them's from my district. And I wanted to show you the lights here around the edge of the building are LEDs. These are the blue-white lights that we're seeing in our neighborhoods now, and that concern me. But in the center here are the yellow-white lights that I have in my home and our LEDs. Now these are the old fixtures next to the new LEDs. We're just asking the city to take a careful look at the options that Tucson and other major cities in the country have chosen, which are streetlights below 3,000 Kelvin, much like these 2,700 Kelvin right here. Soft white is a good choice. I hope that you and your staff and everybody in Phoenix will get a little smarter about LEDs this summer before the decision is made next fall. I hope the city will consider maybe getting some help from consultants, because this LED technology has advanced very quickly in the last couple of years, and there are new options that the city can choose. Lastly, I'd like everybody to get a little smarter about saving energy in their homes or in our city with new LEDs. And I'm asking that the City Council in particular get a little smarter this summer, enjoy some cool weather on vacation, but more importantly, get wiser this summer before making a decision next fall about the quality of life in Phoenix that the new street lights can bring us to our great city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weaver. Ms. Barker?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, Diane Barker, District 7, and I want to thank the people that notified me at Facebook and others, because it's my birthday today, and I want to share something I designated as a fun day for you, okay? And Monday we did Meet Me Downtown, and what do we do every Monday? We get out. Where do we go? No matter the weather or whether it's a holiday, we go downtown Phoenix, and we meet at the Corner restaurant. There are a lot of discounts. There are free raffle tickets. You win Diamondback or Symphony tickets, and we walk or run to Hans Park, and there's music. And the other thing is today there's going to be a proposed possibly bypass. They're talking about it's a truck bypass at South Mountain, but there is a meeting down at the Pecos Center, and I get to take the express bus. And I'll give a kudo to Kenny Knudsen and Ray from the streets, because spontaneously they could answer what buses that I would take. I had a choice, and the connecting buses too, and I really appreciate that, finding people that are involved here in the city that know what they do. And coming back from California, I found people that were operating the system didn't necessarily know how everything connected. So I'm urging the city to get with it, and all of you leaders and the mayor too, to consider using transit. It's air quality and transportation are entwined. The county's asking everybody to make more air. We're in serious noncompliance for ozone. And we're in that also for particulates, and we're into maintenance, meaning that if we don't do the control measures, we could have carbon monoxide. So, consider, ride sharing. Consider just not always with a cab or Uber, that you would use our air conditioning. The city has brand new buses. They're air conditioned, and guess what? The bus driver actually thanked me for riding the bus. Happy birthday to everybody.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Barker. Mr. Holm, I hope I'm not in violation of meeting law by wishing Ms. Barker a happy birthday.
You're good, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All right, how about Mr. Rusnick?
What I've got here is the last 3 times they done a driveway, they done it wrong. I got something right here from the materials, where he got the materials. 1/2-inch crushed river rock. In order for this interlock to happen, the rock must be laid to a depth of 1 1/2 inches. Any deeper in surface is too uneven vertically to lock into place horizontally. They got a 3 inches. Now they were supposed to use no less than 1/4, no more than 3/4. Then it says they were supposed to, type of dust proofing application shall be treated with a dust palatable such as Marlock. At Logar, with Neighborhood Services, says they don't use Murlock anymore. But here I've got on June 24th, 2014, they use, on this particular property, they use Techna soil. It's something that they can't get Morlock use. And then on April 15th, 14th, they use gorilla snot to seal the gravel. What I'm saying is they give them 3 alternatives, and 3 alternatives was wrong. They should, what I'm thinking about, I got a letter from Chris Allett, Alan Stevenson, and they took this driveway off of the records. They should be fired for doing this to a person who is a citizen. I've never had problem with the city until this time. I've lived in my house for 43 years, and now we can't get this driveway done. What is wrong with me or with somebody else when it's done wrong? It should be done right. And if they can't, the people who are in charge of this are given all these methods of doing it, they should be fired or something, because I'm the only one that this happens to. These other 2 people here that had it, they should be all right.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Rusnick. Mr. Deibler?
Hello, I am James Deibler. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and Phoenix Council member Donald Vangerelia, Phoenix Council District 5. 2 weeks ago, I spoke at Phoenix City Council meeting about the person selling drugs on 41st Avenue and Serena Vista Drive on the northwest corner. I have good news. The person used to sell drugs at this house. The owner of the house evicted him out of the neighborhood, and he's looking for a new tenant with no criminal record. Please pray for the victims who we lost during the shooting in Orlando, Florida, and these who are suffering injuries. I hope the family will find peace through their hearts and be able to survive this trinket incident. Good luck on your new job, Debbie, as Phoenix Councilwoman. Thanks for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Deibler. That's all the cards we have for citizen requests. We'll now move on with our agenda. Would the city clerk please read the 24-hour paragraph?
The titles of the following ordinance and resolution numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinance number G6179, S 42540, 42601, 42614, and 42624 through 42681, and resolutions number 21446 through 21450.
Thank you very much. Today there are no council meeting minutes to approve, nor are there any boards and commissions. So now I will ask if could we get a motion to suspend the rules and take item 1 out of order?
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules and change the order of business to take item 1 out of order.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll move forward with item 1. Item 1 is the swearing in of our chief presiding judge, the Honorable Judge B. Don Taylor III. We appointed him a few months ago as our chief presiding judge. He served, I guess, in an interim capacity, but today he's officially sworn in as a judge. So I will come down to my right, your left, swear in Judge Taylor. And then Judge Taylor, please come behind the dais here, and we'll get shake hands with everybody, maybe get a quick picture with our chief presiding judge and members of the council, if we can get someone with a camera for a quick shot after the swearing in. Oh, Chris. All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Don Taylor,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state of Arizona,
of the state of Arizona,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and defend them against all enemies,
and defend them against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of,
Chief Presiding Judge
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Honorable Taylor. All right, next on the agenda are liquor license applications. Vice Mayor, do we have an omnibus on the proposed liquor license applications?
I move approval of items 2 through 10.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any cards on those items? Any comments or questions by members of this council? We actually do have 2 cards, both in favor of the motion. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? That item passes unanimously. Councilman Pastor, are you on the phone? Okay. Did you vote aye on that item?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next item is ordinances, resolutions, and new business. Vice Mayor, are we prepared with an omnibus motion on those items?
Mayor, I move that the City Council suspend the rules and change the order of business for items 11 through 16 and 18 to 20 to permit the holding of public hearings and actions related to the adoption of the final 2016-2017 annual budget and year-end amendments to the 2015-2016 budget ordinances.
Thank you very much, first, for guiding me in the right direction. Right, we're going to deal with the budget items next. So we have a motion to suspend the rules. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. So next we'll move on to items 11 through 16 and 18 through 20. I guess 11 was the suspension of the rules. So the first item will be item number 12. Item number 12 is a public hearing on the adoption of the final 2016-17 budget and on the truth in taxation proposed property tax levy scheduled for the council action on July 1, 2016. Under Arizona state law, for any action we may or may not take on July 1st, in order to be eligible, legally eligible to take any action, we are legally required to hold a public hearing at least 14 days in advance. So today will be the day for a public hearing. There'll be no vote on any issues relative to floating the tax rate or any other tax items, but we are required to hold this public hearing, and that's what we're going to do now. I now declare the public hearing on item number 12 open. Are there any cards on item number 12? Is any member of the public here to speak on item number 12, the public hearing on the proposed final 2016 budget and truth in taxation on a proposed property tax levy scheduled before this council on July 1, 2016? Going once, going twice. The public hearing is now closed. Next item on the agenda is item number 13. Item 13 is the convening of a special meeting of the City Council to consider adoption of this 2016-17 budget. Vice Mayor.
Mayor, in accordance with state statute, I move that the regular meeting of the City Council be recessed and the City Council convene a special meeting to consider adoption of the budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any comments or questions by members of the council on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 14. Item number 14 is a vote on the adoption of the final 2016-17 annual operating funds budget. Do we have a motion on item number 14?
Mayor, I move that item 14, being ordinance S-42624, the final 2016-2017 annual operating funds budget, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. I'll now turn to members of the council. Any comments or questions regarding the motion? The motion is in favor. Roll call.
Nowakowski. Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
No.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item 14 passes on a vote of 6-2 before this city council. We'll now move on to item number 15. Item number 15 is the adoption of the final 2016-17 capital funds budget. Vice Mayor.
Mayor, I move that item 15, being ordinance S-42625, the final 2016-2017 capital funds budget, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any comments or questions by members of the city council on the capital funds budget? Roll call.
Nowakowski. Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
No.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. Was that 6-2? The capital funds budget passes on a vote of 6-2 before the city council. Item number 16 is the adoption of the final 2016-17 reappropriated funds budget.
Mayor, I move...
Reappropriated funds budget basically means we can, if we have leftover money from this year's budget, we're eligible to spend it in next year's budget. Thank you, Mr. Barton, for explaining that. I was afraid to ask after all these years, but I finally did this year. Thank you very much. Reappropriated funds budget. All right, Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on the reappropriated funds budget?
Since he explains it so well. Mayor, I move that item 16, being ordinance S-42626, the final 2016-2017 reappropriated funds budget, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any comments or questions by members of this council? Any cards? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Pastor. Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilman Pastor, your vote is a yes, and the reappropriate funds.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So that item passes on an 8-0 vote before this city council. Vice Mayor,
Mayor, I move that the city council adjourn the special meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning the special meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item passes unanimously. Now we'll move on to 18, 19, and 20. 18, 19, and 20 are legally required amendments to the current 15-16 budget, allowing the city to close out the current fiscal year's budgetary accounts and to proceed with an annual independent audit. First, item 18. Item number 18 amends the 2015-16 annual operating funds budget to authorize reallocating appropriations.
Mayor, just to clarify, we've reconvened the regular city council meeting, correct?
We closed out the special meetings that would place us in a regular city council a meeting right now.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Barton, our budget director, did I explain that accurately?
You did, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor.
Mayor, I move that item 18, being ordinance S-42628, the required reallocation of the 2015-2016 operating budget appropriations, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions by members of this council? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes on a 7-1 vote before this city council. Next item is item number 19. Item 19 amends the 2015-16 annual capital funds budget to authorize reallocating appropriations. Mr. Barton, what is the difference between 18 and 19?
So the difference between 18 and 19, 18 was the capital, or the operating, 19 is the capital budget. So that's our CIP budget for 19.
Thank you very much. And it allows us then to tell us what we're doing with 19.
Sure. On 19, essentially, we're doing the same thing we did on the operating side. We're taking the legal appropriation that currently exists now for the current year CIP budget, and we're reappropriating those dollars to areas where we needed them. Specifically in areas where costs came in a little bit higher, we're taking the appropriation, the legal authority up in those areas, taking it down in other areas. At the bottom, at the end of the day, the total budget for the year remains the same, so no increase.
Thank you very
Staying
much.
in compliance with state law.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Appreciate that. Okay, Vice Mayor. Did you already do a motion? On 19.
That item 19 being ordinance S-42629, the required reallocation of the 2015-2016 capital funds budget appropriations, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions by members of this council? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes. Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, the item passes 7-1 before the city council. Item number 20 amends the 2015-16 annual reappropriated funds budget to authorize reallocating appropriations. Mr. Barton, what are we doing with item 20?
This one's a tricky one. This one is actually reappropriating last year's reappropriated funds budget. So this is taking funds from 14-15 that we reappropriated into fiscal year 15-16 and still using that authorization to spend those dollars next fiscal year, or this fiscal year, actually.
Thank you very much. Any questions from Mr. Barton on what we're voting on item number 20? Vice Mayor.
Mayor, I move that item 20, being ordinance S-42630, the required reallocation of the 2015-2016 reappropriated funds budget appropriations, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Nowakowski. Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item number 20 passes by an 8-0 vote of the city council. We'll now move back into our regular order of the Phoenix City Council formal agenda. Then, let's see, we did 11 through 16, we did 18 through 20, so I guess we'll start on item number 17. Vice Mayor, do we have an omnibus motion on ordinances, resolutions, and new business, and planning and zoning?
Motion to approve items 17 and 21 through 96, except the following. Items 17C, D, E, O, and 57. Item 73 is being continued to June 22nd, 2016. Items 56, 58, and 90 are as corrected, and excluding these items for public comment. 21, 29, 40, 46, 57, 59, 66, and 70.
All right, that is the omnibus motion for this agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any cards on any of those items? Do we have any comments or questions by members of the city council? Roll call.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes unanimously. Next item is 17C. 17C is one item on our payment ordinance to design and install graphic design wrap on 5 city garbage roll-off haulers for neighborhood cleanups. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on 17C?
I move approval of 17C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any cards on those items? Any comments by members of the city council? Roll call.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes. Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes 7-1 before the city council. Next item is also part of the payment ordinance. 17D is a proposed expenditure of funds to help the Phoenix Neighborhood Services Department put on the 2016 neighborhood college classes for neighborhood leaders throughout Phoenix. Vice Mayor.
I move approval of 17D.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any cards on that item? Any comments or questions by members of the city council? Roll call.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes on a 7-1 vote before the city council. Next item is 17E, payment to Radisson Phoenix Airport Hotel for conference space rental and food services relating to the Terminal 4 Phase 1 retail revenue solicitation process. Vice Mayor.
Move approval of item 17E.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions by this council? Roll call.
Noakowski. Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes on a 7-1 vote. Next item is 17-0, payment for artwork cleaning and maintenance for the Phoenix Airport Museum. Vice Mayor.
Move approval of item 17O.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes on a 7-1 vote. Next item is item number 21. Item 21 is a proposed ordinance calling for a special election in District 3. We do have one card on that item. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on that item?
Move approval of the ordinance calling for a special election.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Councilwoman Stark, are you going to declare a conflict on this for potential conflict of interest?
I think I will.
Okay, so,
Okay.
so
I think I should probably.
all right. So Councilwoman Stark will be declaring a conflict and will not be participating in either the debate or the discussion on item number 21. The speaker is Mr. Leonard Clark. Up to 2 minutes of comments relative to item 21.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Leonard Clark, a resident of Phoenix all my life, except for a few times in the Army and beautiful city of Glendale. Anyways, I just want to ask you to please do everything you can to make sure that our fellow citizens, our efforts are made, maybe, I don't know what appropriations are there, to make sure that an awareness of our citizens that an election is going to take place. And I personally prefer the person sitting there, but I know that that person can't speak because the right person was picked. But I'm hoping that, unlike our county elections and unfortunately our Secretary of State that doesn't let people know certain things, that our timing, our information is sent out to our citizens, that we have free and equal elections according to, I believe our judicial folks are out here. What is that, Article 2 in the Arizona State Constitution and all that good stuff. But it's really important because I, as a citizen, feel that many citizens, now I'm not speaking for everybody, but people in my neighborhood and my good friends that live in this beautiful city are feeling that our election system is getting worn down, and we want to make sure that all appearances of impropriety, all of these things that could make this election look not free and equal, please make sure those things don't happen, because our citizens deserve a free and equal election, and I'm sure you will do that. But please, 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 let our citizens know, because your view might be, well, Leonard, it's their fault if they don't care, if they don't know enough to go to the ballot boxes. But as you know, our Phoenix residents are hard-working folks. A lot of them barely have time to get home, feed their kids, and do all of these things. They need to know that their vote's going to count. Because if you, as a citizen, don't know that your vote is going to count in an election in the United States of America, then our nation is doomed, our city is doomed, and I don't want that to ever happen. So I'm hoping you will assure the public that the citizens of Phoenix will be not just notified, but you will let them know. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clark, for that testimony. Are there any other cards on that item? So we have a motion in favor of item number 21. We have a second, noting Councilwoman Stark's potential conflict of interest. Any other comments by members of the council? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So the item is passed 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item number 29. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on 29?
Move approval of item 29, Information Security Architecture Assessment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have one card on item 29. Mr. Leonard Clark.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, and thank you for letting me speak. I am a resident of Phoenix. I really strongly make sure that you hold this company, the folks that are going to be making sure that our systems aren't hacked, because I, as a citizen, I've already had my Social Security leaked out to the communist Chinese. We've been hacked at every level, and we just had the Russians hack into the DNC voter base. So, you know, people may laugh and think this is mundane, but I as a citizen, everything's on the internet now, so I guess you probably already know everything about me anyways, but can't we just please, for the love of God, make sure that our cybersecurity for our city is put into place? I mean, they're not doing it at the DNC. They're not doing it at other levels of our government. I hope you guys will show them and make the example for the rest of our government. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. So there was a motion in favor of 29. There was a second. Any comments? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams. Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. Earlier, we inadvertently included item 22 in the omnibus motion. It should not have been included in the omnibus motion. Vice Mayor, can I get a request to reconsider item 22?
Mayor, I move we reconsider item 22.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Can I get a motion in favor of item 22?
Mayor, I move approval of item 22.
We have a motion and a second. Councilwoman Stark, did you want to declare a potential conflict on that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
So Councilwoman Stark has a potential conflict and will not be voting on item number 22. We have a motion in favor of 22. A second. Councilman Waring,
Thank
please.
you.
Councilman, please.
Wasn't going to say anything, but now that we're doing this anyway, you know, we run our own city elections, and that costs us quite a bit of money. Depending on which election it is, it could be upwards of $500,000 an election. This one, we're partnering with the county, which is a good thing in terms of cost savings, so I'm happy to see it. I was sort of amused in the description. It talks about how it will save the, somewhere in here, about the inconvenience of people otherwise having to go to 2 different polling places, which is, of course, what we foist on voters in quite a few of these elections by running our own elections, spending more money for it, and getting dramatically lower turnout. So this one is a presidential election, so to Leonard Clark's point, I think people will know what's going on. Pretty sure about that. Clinton, Trump seems to have gotten a lot of publicity. Pretty sure everybody will know. But the way we do it generally, he's right. We get 20-25% turnout, sort of at the max. This one's going to be different. This will have a lot more voters because, again, doing it in the even years when people actually turn out to vote. Again, generally speaking, we spend a lot more money to run elections to have a lot fewer people turn out. I've never really had a coherent explanation of why that makes sense, but that's what we do. But I do think it's nice that the city is acknowledging this time that, well, it is inconvenient to run the 2 separate sort of 2-track systems. I've certainly gotten complaints in the past. People voting in school board elections have to go to one place and then they can't turn in their city ballot or vice versa. It makes us just frankly look silly, which is why I always vote against this. But in this case, we're doing it the way we should and saving some money in the bargain. So I'm going to vote aye.
Thank you very much, Councilman Warren. Okay, so we have a motion in favor of 22. We have a second, noting Councilwoman Stark's potential conflict. Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes unanimously. Item 40 is next. Vice Mayor, do you have a motion on item number 40?
Move approval of item 40.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Deibler, did you provide testimony for this council on item 40, proposed contract with Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence? Please come forward.
Hello, I am James Deibler. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I support this measure to protect a person from domestic violence. There is a lot of women and men is getting hurt by domestic violence. We need to educate people about the dangers of the domestic violence before someone else getting hurt. Stalking and domestic violence is a #1 problem in America. We need to protect women and men from stalking and domestic violence. The Phoenix Police Department is doing a good job on reducing crime on domestic violence and stalking against the person. Thanks for no time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deibler. Any other cards on item 40? We have a motion. We have a second. Any comments by members of this council? Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you to the coalition for their work they've done in partnership with us to fight domestic violence. We've had some pretty sobering cases lately, and it has been great to have them as a partner. They've also been great partners with me as we've looked at some issues like rape kits and our policy in the city of Phoenix. So I'm looking forward to supporting this. I do, however, want us to take a look in the next year if this is something we might be able to support with non-general fund dollars. Particularly, there are some federal dollars that I think we could use towards this cause. So I hope that we can continue to look at this type of item to make sure we maximize the use of taxpayer dollars.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Any additional comments? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is item 46.
Move approval of 46, Homeland Security Grant Program funds for fiscal year 2016.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Clark, up to 2 minutes of testimony.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As a citizen of Phoenix, I would ask also, I'm not sure when you start your clock, but to please let me get to the podium so that when I start speaking, you probably are doing that, but I thought I heard the beeper go off before I even got a chance to get out of my chair. I know it gets tedious listening to me speak, but I am a citizen. I'm here, I'm going to remain neutral on this. Homeland Security grants. In this time of terror and fear, we're all afraid that we're going to be attacked. Unfortunately, Homeland Security has not been the best protector of our constitutional rights. Just recently in Tacoma, Washington, the police force there used a Stingray device, and they got away with it for 6 months, which just routinely swept all phone calls, all of the information of its citizens without warrants. These grants also provide the supply of military-style equipment or the funds to do so. Now, I understand that, some of our friends say, look, Leonard, there's a war on. No, there is an undeclared war. There's an undeclared war. And yes, they gave the president, the Congress in 9/11 all of this power, but truly unconstitutional. Just have to disagree with that. Also, I point out there's no domestic insurrection, as we had during the Civil War. So the supply of armored vehicles, heavily militarized police, I'm with you. I want our police to have the best equipment. But at the same time, I'm very, very worried. I'm not even a libertarian. I'm a moderate. So if I'm up here saying this, I as a citizen, a lot of us complain, we don't like the police, too many of them, and then when you need them, oh my God, there's not enough. I totally get that. I'm just concerned about the intersection of the federal government coming down here, weakening our own sovereignty as a state. And I'm not even a Republican. I'm not even a conservative. So it's crazy that, I believe that these words come out of my mouth, but with the suspension of habeas corpus in the past and all these things, I would just say that you look very cautiously at taking all of this money from the federal government, from Department of Homeland Services. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clark. We have a motion on item 46. We have a second. Any comments by this council? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
I think Councilman Pastor was unable to continue in the meeting, so she had to get off the phone.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Yes. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So that motion passes unanimously. Next item is item number 57. Do we have a motion on 57?
Move approval of item 57, airport retail.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second on 57. I have 2 cards here wishing to speak, both in favor. First speaker is Mr. Gregory Torres. Mr. Torres, we should come speak for this council, followed by Mr. John Avila.
Mayor and council, thank you. I don't think you can give enough accolades in a program that is doing incredible work. At Sky Harbor, we affectionately call it America's friendliest airport. Their outreach efforts over the last 18 months, in particular to this opportunity, have been tremendous. More specifically, under the team itself that Mr. Bennett has is Paula Kuchars, Valerie Churchwell, and Angela Booker. And again, it's important to understand all the work and effort that went in to really make an opportunity available to any and all companies that wanted to be a part of it. I'm excited. I've been an ACDBE firm at the airport since 1999. And I'm proud of the work that the airport continues to do on behalf of all the citizens to ensure that any and all small businesses that want to do business at the airport, it's available to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Torres. Mr. Avila?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. On behalf of 150 employees that work for Avila Retail, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity that has been presented by the airport here. We are a small ACDBE company. Very few of us in this industry. We operate in 4 airports. 3 of those airports are in the top 10 busiest airports in the country. We represent local artisans in this community. We represent other small businesses in this community along with those people. You have, I think, a great partners in your staff at the airport. Every bid or business that we have had with the city and with the airport, I think, has been conducted in a fair manner. They are well organized. Your processes are non-political. And extremely predictable. So again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity of being here that you've provided for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avila, for providing that testimony. In favor of the item, not wishing to speak, Gerald Savaria, Michael Mulaney, Greg Paradis, and Wynn Holden. Yes, all in favor of the item. All right, so we had a motion in favor of 46, or excuse me, 57. I apologize. A motion in favor of 57. We had a second. I would just say, having served as mayor under both, what a different nature of the testimony than food and beverage the last time around, in which our professional airport staff was accused of all sorts of shenanigans, which was not true at that time and is more accurately reflected in the comments here today. Any other comments, members of the council? Vice Mayor.
Yes. We, with food and beverage, did bring in a lot of new local flavor to the airport, and I think this will continue that trend, so looking forward to some folks who are coming back and some new folks. We'll have Bunky Boutique, Arizona Highways, Roosevelt Row. I'm not sure if this is good or bad news since I like their product, but Cactus Candy. So we'll have to do some more Fit Phoenix there to balance that out. So congratulations to the successful applicants. We'll also have our first spa service at the airport, so a lot of new options for folks, Tech Lab and many others. Good opportunities. If you forget something or need to do shopping, you'll have even more opportunities at the airport. And I want to thank the applicants who've been partners with the city on our various initiatives. We have a My Brother's Keeper initiative to try to make sure we have great opportunities for young people, including young people who are neither in school nor working. And we've had some airport partners who are helping us with that. This is also one of the first solicitations that began right after the city passed our equal pay ordinance. So it had the equal pay language in there, and several of the respondents spoke about how they make sure they do market studies and look very intentionally at their employees to make sure that they do have equal pay between men and women. There were a few respondents who did not get perfect scores in my book on the equal pay amendment, so if your only answer to what you're doing to advance equal pay was to put up a poster that you would have to put up anyway with all the labor laws, that's not exactly what I was hoping for with this response, but for those who really are looking intentionally at their pay practices, want to say thank you. There are also several companies that stepped up and said they would make commitments to hire veterans and locally, so we appreciate all our partners at the airport not making it a great shopping experience for people who shop there, but also those who want to be responsible employers. So some good news today.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Any other comments by this council? Councilman Waring, please.
That was a nice use of the word shenanigans. I just wanted to compliment you on that.
Well, you are correct, although probably using it a different way. The suggestion was with food and beverage that there were shenanigans being engaged in, which there weren't, and there weren't on this time. And I think the comments complimentary to our professional city staff at the airport were appropriate here today. They go through, this is a very difficult process. They are very highly qualified companies that apply. It's a difficult process, and they have tough choices, tough choices to recommendations to make to this council. They do a very good job under very difficult circumstances. All right, any other comments or questions? So if this passes, Councilman Valenzuela will get his spa at the airport. Enough said. All right, here we go. Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes on both.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego. Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 59. Do we have a motion on item number 59?
Move approval on item 59, water transmission main inspection and assessment job order contract.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. This is an item that had appeared on a previous agenda, and there was a informal protest, is the way I'll phrase it, by one of the unsuccessful bidders, and we did ask the item be continued. So we have an opportunity to get answers from our professional city staff. So there was a motion in favor of staff recommendation, is that right?
Yes.
There is a second. Maybe I'll turn to our professional city staff and just give us a short explanation. What have we learned since the last meeting?
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. I'm Keeney Knudsen, the city engineer. Accompanying me is Julie Curry with the Assistant City Attorney. Essentially, what we talked about at the June 1st meeting was that we did receive a protest letter. It was late. We investigated the grounds of the protest as part of just due diligence, and we found there were no grounds to the protest as being a valid protest. Here at the June 1st meeting, the protesting party, Western Waterworks, mentioned a licensing issue from the contracting side. We have since, in the last 2 weeks, worked with the Registrar of Contractors to clarify the licensing requirement to ensure that the firms that we are recommending award under this item are appropriately licensed. The Registrar of Contractors has confirmed that, and so there are no licensing issues related to this.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for staff? There are a couple cards on this item. How about Mr. John Schorb? He's opposed to the staff recommendation, opposed to the motion, followed by Robert Berlies.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is John Schorb. I represent Western Waterworks. I wanted to touch base on some of the issues that Mr. Knudsen raised.
Please, thank you.
First of all, with regard to the timeliness of the protest, it was absolutely timely under former Section 2-188 of the City of Phoenix Code. As the council may recall, that code section was changed in early May. That became effective June 3rd after the effective date of after the protest was submitted, excuse me. The protest was submitted within 3 days of the notice of an award. Frankly, there hasn't been a notice of award yet, so it was, of course, timely. That section has been changed now to say notice of intention to award. That intention clearly shows the difference in the timeliness of the complaint. With regard to the issue of licensure, I understand that city staff has spoken with the Registrar of Contractors and determined that an A license is sufficient for the work. The problem is that the request for qualifications here required and stated very specifically that all applicants shall have an A license and a B1 license. I can't speculate on what contractors may not have applied because they didn't have that proper licensure, but it's clear now that there is a change in the qualification requirements after the fact, after people have submitted or not submitted statements of qualifications. Further, with regard to some of the other ancillary issues that were raised in a letter that I received late yesterday from Candy Kowalski with the city. There's a contention, and Mr. Knudsen referred to this last time, that Western Waterworks wouldn't have gotten this contract awarded to them despite having that contract for the last 10 years with the city because of its ranking in connection or in relation to other people. I would point out to if you'll indulge me, I'd point out to the council that the code allows for and allowed for at the time of the submission of the protest anyone who intends to or does submit a statement of qualifications to protest, and that's exactly what happened here. Be happy to answer any questions that the council has.
Hey, I do have a question for you because my concern was licensure. Are you suggesting that the applicant that is recommended by staff, their licensure didn't meet the RFP standard, or that they are not properly licensed for the work that is proposed?
Our contention right now, and we have not had that opportunity to have those discussions with the Registrar of Contractors at this time, but it is absolutely clear in this request for qualifications that the license applicant has to have both an A and a B1 license. This applicant has a KA license, which is an equivalent to an A and a B4 license. B4 and B1 are not the same, and they're vastly different. I have to say that I would assume that the use of shall, the use of both licenses as opposed to either or, as in other requests for qualifications, was intentional and relied upon by people in deciding whether or not they were going to submit a protest, or excuse me, submit a statement of qualifications.
All right, thank you very much. Any comments or questions for Mr. Schorb? Okay, how about Mr. Berlies? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Mr. Robert Berlies, also opposed to the motion.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Robert Berlies, and I represent Western Waterworks. Western Waterworks is the contractor of record for this contract and several others. We have enjoyed an excellent working relationship with the city for over 10 years. Our work performance has always been of high quality. In late 2015, we had an organizational change that occurred with the departure of the individual now associated with PPS/Waco. At the first meeting we had with the city following the change to update and introduce our new field superintendent and organizational restructure, we were informed that our 3 JOC contracts would not be renewed, and they had renewals left as a result of the change, and they would be rebid. In my former life, I was the water operations director for another local municipality, having retired after 29 years. I have participated in numerous consultant selection and RFP submittal review panels. So I've been on the other side of the table. I know what is discussed and what happens behind closed doors. Our former employee proceeded to form his own company in January of 2016, obtained his general contracting license in January 2016, and submitted his SOQ for this contract and 2 other contracts. Our objection to this award of this contract to Waco is based on fair and unbiased consideration of the offers for this and future requests, and not about sour grapes. We believe the selection process has been manipulated that has resulted in an award to an unqualified firm. How can a company in existence for only 3 months show the experience and depth to perform the required work? How can a company with no apparent owned excavating equipment perform the required work? How can a company in existence for only 3 months be rated #1 by the selection panel over 3 long-standing contracting companies totaling over 75 years in business in the Valley? How can a company in existence for only 3 months show 5 years of work experience on City of Phoenix projects where the company provided general construction services? Simple answer is they can't, because they didn't exist as a company. How can a company in existence for only 3 months show any comparable project experience when the company lacked the proper license to perform the work in the first place? We're talking about the A license. Lastly, this JOC award is the first of 3 JOC awards. There are 2 more waiting for council's approval. And Waco has been recommended as the contractor for 1 solely and a co-award on the second one. The approximate value of all 3 JOCs range from a low of $7 million to over $20 million. If this doesn't cause your antennas to go up, I don't know what will. But I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Belize. Appreciate it. That's all the cards I have on this item. Did anyone else in the audience wish to speak on item number 59? All right, so we have a motion in favor of the staff recommendation. We have a second. Now I'll turn to members of the council. Are there any questions or comments relative to the issues that were brought up either at the previous meeting or today? Councilwoman.
Could we have staff reply to the licensure that they just questioned? Does the 1 equal the 2?
Mayor, Councilwoman Williams, in response to the licensing issue, what we had in our solicitation documents was a product of when we've worked with the ROC in the past on what the licensure requirements is for similar work. But in the end, when we have licensure information that's in those solicitation documents, it's informative to potential proposers on there to be able to have any questions on it. At the end of the day, if there's any licensing issues about what license is required for a scope of work for a particular contract, we defer to Registrar of Contractors. And the Registrar of Contractors we forwarded them our solicitation documents. They looked at it. They came back and confirmed only an A license is required for the scope of work for this project. So, like I said, in the end, we can put whatever we want in the solicitation documents, but the Registrar of Contractors is the defining authority in the state on what is required for a particular scope of work.
May I ask one more question, please?
Councilwoman, the floor is yours.
I believe this has been explained to me by staff that the company may be due, but the employees are very experienced. Is that correct?
Mayor, Councilwoman Williams, correct. When we put together our solicitation documents, we also have evaluation criteria that are set out to look at different areas, various aspects of the proposers or the submitters on our solicitations. And in this case, specifically for this, we evaluate separately the experience of the prime firm the firm that's submitting this, and we separately evaluate the team members on that firm. And the reason why we do that is because in the architect, engineering, and construction industry, there's a lot of portability of employees that go between different companies. We want to make sure we're properly evaluating a firm's experience and also the team members' experience who will be working with us on that contract. And in this case, we looked back at the scoring, and we've evaluated and looked at it, and it was appropriately scored that way.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Any additional comments or questions by this council? Roll call.
Noakowski. Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So the motion passes unanimously on item number 59. Next item is item number 66.
Move approval of 66, issuance of wastewater system revenue refunding obligations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Clark, up to 2 minutes of testimony.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Leonard Clark. I'm a resident of Phoenix, and I just want to say that I strongly support this. As a city, we have to recycle and treat very carefully the limited amount of water that we have because we're living in this Sonoran desert. And I also want you to think about this as you're passing this, why maybe you should come up with some other ways to prevent corporations who want to take our water, which is a finite source, and sell it for profit, farm our water out, such as Nestle Corporation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. We have a motion and a second on item 66. Any comments or questions by this council? Roll call.
Noakowski. Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes unanimously. Next item is item number 70. Do we have a motion on item number 70?
Move approval of 70, extend contract for advertising on public transit street furniture.
Mr. Clark, you have up to 2 minutes of testimony.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Of course, I just want to tell you I support this, but I'm also leery about the fact that we've had some controversies over what we can put on the bus stops and what we can't. I mean, if you go by the Supreme Court ruling, of course, I'm not a lawyer, but what goes with the standards of the community is generally what is considered obscene and what these types of things, but my concern with it is if you get a so-called right-wing group, a so-called left-wing group saying, why are you doing this? And in the past, we decide to censor. So, yes, we have to bring in sources of revenue. I'm just a little nervous when the government itself is in the business of having an enterprise such as this. But, you might say, well, Leonard, if you got any other better ideas, then let me know. And I don't have any other better ideas right now. So I support it, just leery about that. Thank you very much. And you have a good day.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hyde, I think we changed our policy not that long ago that says nothing of a political nature.
That's correct, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. So that motion in favor of 70. We have a second. Any comments or questions by members of this council? Roll call.
Noakowski. Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item passes unanimously. Is it? Passes on a 6-0 vote. Is that it for today? No more items? What's that? No more items? Okay. Okay, so that was one of our quicker meetings. Councilwoman Stark, you brought us good luck. That was a very smooth, quick meeting. Thank you very much. Good karma. There'll be no further business before the City Council. This meeting is adjourned.